Hey everybody, how you doing? Welcome in, Red, White, and Bills. This is a pregame show for the Bills versus the Chiefs. I just wanted to take a minute, and this is very hard for me. I appreciate all the love and support when I'm going through this tough time. I lost a very, very close friend of mine to a tragic accident in the last couple of days, and I know he wouldn't want me to not continue doing what I'm doing and not to do it in the honor of him. And I'm sorry I'm not as excited or motivated like I usually am, but I'm trying my best because I know that's what he would want. And just I ask that you guys keep his fiance and his family in your thoughts and prayers. And I'll just take a minute to talk about him before I get into the game. He was a guy that he would give the shirt off his back to anybody without even asking a question. He had the smile. He had the smile and this laugh that would just fill your heart with love. And God, I just miss him so much. So rest in peace, Andrew Maestas. And, God bless his family and, his soul, and for them to get through this difficult time. And I'm sorry, I had to get emotional, but I just wanted to explain to you what's going on with me as to why I may not be seeming like myself. And I just know that he would want me to be doing this. And I have to do it and for his honor. So this especially this video is dedicated to Andrew and for the life he lived. And he accomplished so much, and he was such an honorable and amazing person. But I know he'd be a Bills fan right now. He was a Cowboys fan, and I know they couldn't help him out and get him a win, but I know he'd be rooting for the Bills right now. But Bills and Chiefs is basically a rematch of the AFC Championship last year, and we got the best of them this year at Arrowhead. So we're going back to Arrowhead, and this will be another hill to get over for the road to the Super Bowl. Again, people count us out, and they like to compare Allen and Mahomes and say, well, Mahomes has done it consistently and Allen is spurts, and that's not true. They're both excellent, amazing quarterbacks in their own right. And it's not about who's better. It's just about let's actually just admire how fantastic both of them are, instead of trying to say, oh, Mahomes or Allen or this. Like, they're both better at certain things, and they both lead their team to championship caliber football. But a rematch, they're 2-1 against us in the last two seasons, and they remember that loss at home, and they're a different team since the last game as well as we are, and it's going to be very challenging for both teams. And I believe firmly that whoever can win this game will at least be in the Super Bowl, whether they win it or not. Up to see, but I firmly believe that whoever wins this game will be representing the AFC in the Super Bowl. So as far as what the Bills have to do to secure a victory is we got to continue to feed Motor. We have seen the ability that he's been able to provide for us with more carries. In the beginning, I always had to preface it by saying this, like always, he was getting 5 to 7 carries a game, and people were wondering why he's not having the same output as his rookie season. And it's just simple. It just takes some people more to get going. Like I mentioned this before, you take Derrick Henry, you give him 5 carries, he might get 2 yards, but then you give him 5 more, he'll have 102 yards. So it's all about opportunity. He's an opportunistic player. He can catch, he can run, he can hit you hard, he can cut fast. He's a one-cut bat. He's just elusive. He has so many good qualities about him, and continuing to get him the rock is pivotal, especially because it keeps the defense honest, and then it keeps the focus away from Josh Allen, and Allen's able to scramble and run the ball and pass the ball. We cannot shoot ourselves in the foot, especially against this team. I forgot the official's name, but we drew a guy in a crew that does not really call interference and holdings in the secondary. And we know we've seen it, and it's not hating or anything, but the Chiefs secondary does play very handsy and could, essentially change the outcome of a catch because of what they're doing. But we can't worry about that. We have to beat them regardless of what they're going to be doing and what the officials say, because you don't want to look at this game as a player or a fan and say, well, the ref did that. You just have to go out there and play your brand of football. And one thing about the Buffalo Bills that was said for weeks was they're soft, they're weak, they're not physical, they can't tackle. Whereas I can agree to a point about the tackling. It's not that they can't tackle, it's just they were arm tackling because they're very physical. But the last few weeks, we've been showing that we're a very physical team and that soft mentality that people were trying to put on us is not true. And definitely got to out physical the Chiefs. They got a very, very good offensive line. They got Chris Jones, who we're going to talk about, and a couple other great guys on the defensive line. They got a great rookie, Nick Bolton. I didn't put him down as a key player, but he's very good. And there's a lot of guys to key in on, and we got to play physical because, as we saw in the Patriots game, from the first snap of the game, we punched them in the mouth, and they fell, and they didn't get back up. And granted, you can't expect another 7-for-7 touchdown game, but you still can play with the same intensity. Dane Jackson and Levi Wallace have been playing phenomenal in the absence of Trey White. And this is a game where they're really going to have to step up because you've got so many weapons on the Chiefs. They're very quick. They're very good. They're very good at catching and running routes and being physical in the routes. So this is going to be their biggest game that they've played. And I believe that they're up to the challenge. Especially Levi's stepped into the quarterback one role, and Dane has been holding his own. So we're going to have to really have them step up. And then with Trey, not Trey, but with Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer in the second in the safeties, we have a lot of room we can work with because they can cover a lot of ground, and they're good tacklers, and they're ball hawks. So, if we give up a blown coverage once, they're going to be right there to pick up Tyreek Hill or Mecole Hardman, whoever. So they got to step up, and I truly believe that they will. Another huge key for this is you have to get home with 4 and maintain the gap integrity, because I noticed with when they played the Steelers were rushing 4, but they were stunting and doing things that were keeping them out of the gaps. And then Mahomes was able to scramble and create something out of nothing. And we saw in the last game when we played him, we did a very good job of keeping him secure inside that pocket and not allowing him to use his feet, even though he runs really weird. I don't know how he's fast, but he was able to make something out of nothing. And I think that's the main key with getting home with 4. It's not just doing it, but not allowing him to make something out of nothing like Josh Allen can do. The other thing, red zone defense is huge with this team. They have so many weapons, and you've seen even Travis Kelce, a tight end who's very, very excellent at his job, throw a touchdown pass in the playoffs. What they do in the red zone, not only can they do it normally, they do a lot of trickery as well. So this is going to be a huge red zone defense game. The last 3 games, they're 75% in the red zone. So that's a recipe for wins. So we have to play better red zone defense than they do red zone offense. Now getting into some of the Chiefs players. Chris Jones, who was not in the game when we played the first time. However, I don't think it would have changed anything just for the fact of at that time that he missed that one game. The weeks prior, they put him at defensive end, which was like really head scratching to me. You're putting a guy who gets 10, 20 sacks as a defensive tackle and a defensive end, and he just gets pushed out, and that's it. Like, he takes the outside edge, and then there you go. He's vicious in the inside. So that was a huge mistake, and a part of the reason why their defense was one of the worst defenses in the entire NFL history the first 5 weeks was because one of their biggest playmakers was out of position. Not that he can't do it, it's just they were expecting the same result as if he was a D tackle, which didn't make sense. But 10 sacks for him, 1 forced fumble, 65 pressures. This is a guy who could single-handedly wreck a game. And you saw it in the Cowboys game. He got to Dak a lot, and Biotish and their guards couldn't have an answer for him. For Dallas. So this is going to be a huge game for left guard Ryan Bates, center Mitch Morse, and Darrell Williams. Rick Bates. They call him Rick, but Rick Bates has been absolutely phenomenal at guard. Mitch Morse is an incredible center, very smart. He's one of the best at the position, even though Creed Humphrey, the other center on the other team, is rated number 1, who's very good also. But Mitch Morse has that veteran experience. He's very intelligent, and he's very tough and strong. So they're going to have their hands full because he's a key player. And you don't also, if you draw two people to him and you stick with it, then another guy's going to be open. So we got to do a lot of shift blocks and going down the line and shifting it all this way and double team and going to another guy just to slow him down just a little bit. And then Travis Kelce, who I mentioned, who threw a touchdown pass in the playoff game, 92 receptions, 1,125 receiving yards, and 9 touchdowns, tied for the league with Hunter Henry and Dawson Knox for most touchdowns for a tight end. And when he's targeted, I think it was, sorry, I can't read my own writing right now. It was 103 point something, but it's incredible. It basically catches everything. So limiting his ability in the game like we did the first time, him and Tariq Hill were pretty quiet. That's a huge key, even just stopping one of them or limiting one of them, And the next one, McCole Hardman, he's very quick and speedy, good gadget guy. 59 receptions, 693 receiving yards, 2 touchdowns. He's a guy that, when we got no Trey White, you got Hill to worry about. You got McCole Hardman to worry about. You got Travis Kelce to worry about. You got, Edwards-Helaire if he's playing to worry about, or McKinnon, the guy that just played absolutely amazing last game. There's so many people to key in on. So McCole Hardman's going to be a guy that's probably going to look to quite often. And then, of course, Tyrann Mathieu, another great defensive player, not as good as Jordan Poyer and Micah Hyde, but 3 interceptions, 65 tackles. He's always in the right place at the right time. He's very instinctual. He's a great player. And like I said, the first time, Josh Allen's going to have to be mindful of where he's at all times. I have my own feelings about Tariq Hill, but we're talking about football. He's a good football player, 111 receptions, 1,239 yards, 9 touchdowns. The fastest guy in the game, especially with no Trey White. It's going to be very dependent on safety help to bracket him like we did the first time in the cover 2 and make sure he's okay. He's not killing us with a deep ball. I know they're going to be looking for that. And don't be surprised if they go for that the first couple, drives of the game. Frank Clark, a defensive end, he's a stud. He's very good on the edge. 5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. He's very quick off the ball, kind of like how Ed Oliver is and AJ Epinesa. Not as quick, but he's very quick. And whether he's lined up on Deion Dawkins or Spencer Brown, it's going to be a tough ask. They've been phenomenal, but every game is a new beast to watch out for. And speaking of beast, Melvin Ingram, we all remember what he did to us in the Steelers game, and he wasn't on the Chiefs last time we played, so we've got to put that into account as well. But you could say that they didn't have this, they didn't have that, but we didn't have Matt Milano, and our offensive line wasn't the same. So, both teams have new things that we're going to be seeing for the first time against each other. 3 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 42 pressures, 10 quarterback hits. This guy is a machine, and there's so many people to watch out for in this Chiefs defense. As bad as it was in the beginning of the year, historically bad, they've turned a corner and they've been solid. They said from week 16 to now they're number 1 in points per game, although we're the number 1 defense for the entire year. But since week 6, they turned a corner. They moved Chris Jones back on the D tackle, and they've been phenomenal. So, guys, thank you for so much, for being here and understanding. And it's a tough road ahead, and I'm not trying to do. I wasn't doing this for sympathy or anything like that. You guys have the right to know, as the people who support my channel, of what's going on. And thank you so much for all that love and support. And I know he's looking down right now, and he's rooting for Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, and he's going to be right next to me watching the game. And it's going to be a great matchup. Like I said, I think whoever wins this game will be in the championship or be in the Super Bowl. And why not the Buffalo Bills, right? We have the team for it. We have the quarterback, the coach, the mentality, the defense. Everything's coming together at the right time. We're healthy. we got the offensive line right at the right time. We have the guys built for this. We have the guys that want this. We know they want this. We see it in every single play that they have. So why not Buffalo? I wear that sweatshirt all the time. Why not Buffalo? Also, a couple days ago, I put in the order for the shirts. I could check my messages, but there's a few of them in there, so I have to look around. But if you remember that you put an order in, I know there's a medium, a large, 2 larges, and 3 extra larges. So if you remember which one you were, please DM me. And sorry, this video was a little bit longer. Well, let me know what your comments are, how you feel the game's going to go, who's your guys keying on, who's your guys that the Chiefs should worry about. I know there's a few Chiefs fans, and who are the guys that the Chiefs should worry about for the Bills. And thanks again, everybody, for the love and support. Until next time, go Bills, baby. Let's get this W.